Howdy ho gamers, it's me, your 6'1", 195 pounds of pure muscle king, back with another anime list review. Well, I guess this is the first one I'm using anime list instead of my anime list, because in my last ranking video I talked about how they sold themselves to a crypto site or some shit, and I don't want them mining my phone for fuckboy coins. But I'm using a different app that basically does the same thing. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. The video titles won't say my anime list; they'll say any list, and that's very different. So I do want to. I didn't watch that many things. I watched 3 anime and then a fourth thing that I'm also going to talk about first, and it's up for debate. Uh, Mentally, for myself, I don't know about for other people. I see a lot of people call it anime. I don't think it is. The Devil May Cry show that they made for Netflix came out at the beginning of the month. Um, I looked it up because people were like, "It's by Studio Mir or MIR." I don't know how you say it. Studio Mir. That sounds cooler, but it's. I don't want to give them that. And I looked it up, and the show done by Studio Mir. Google it. Go to Wikipedia. It says they're like a Korean-based animation studio, and I'm like, okay, it's Korean-based. That's anime. And then I look at the list of all the shit they've made, and everything they've made is for America. So I'm a little hard pressed to be like, oh, it's anime, if it's an American production at the end of the day. Like, it's just kind of semantics, so like, who gives a fuck? I guess I do because I'm talking about it, but personally, in my heart of hearts, gatekeeper style, I don't want to call it anime, especially because it sucks dick. I don't remember what I actually posted because it's not on any list, and I don't think it's on my anime list. I didn't look, but it's not on any list, so I can't even like have the ranking in front of me. It was low. I think it was either a 3 out of 10 or a 5 out of 10, but only a 5 out of 10 because like the action scenes were good, and not because anything like the writing it's piss poor. It's not good. So I remember they announced it maybe only like a year ago. I think it had a pretty quick turnaround. And it was like, it's by Adi Shankar, the guy who did Castlevania for Netflix, which is another thing people are like, that's anime, even though it's just a cartoon. I watched season 1, maybe about 2 seasons of Castlevania, because it came out and people were like, finally, a good video game adaptation. But it was also bad, so I don't know what those people were smoking. So I was like, well, I'll give it a chance because I love Devil May Cry. It's like 3 and 5 are some of my favorite games ever. This show seemingly seems like it would be around Devil May Cry 3 and like the timeline, but you very quickly realize and see that he just took the characters and their likeness, and then like for the most part, it's not anything to do with Devil May Cry. It's just especially by the end, a way to be like, America politics bad, which is crazy for a Japanese video game series primarily set in like Europe, I think. At least like DMC 1, 2, and 4, none of those are set in America. 3 is either in America or Japan, and then I think 5 is in America. Maybe Japan also. I don't know. The point is, not really an American-based series, so I don't know why they went with that. But it also, all the marketing was like, look, it's Dante from Devil May Cry. Don't you love to see him? He's so heckin' epic. But, and I did see a Reddit post about this where, for most of the show, it's about a side character called Lady, or at least in the games you meet her. Dante's like, what's your problem, Lady? And then the games call her Lady. Her real name is Mary Ann, and the show, most of the characters call her Mary Ann, which is fine because that's her name. But first shows up in DMC3, and she like, her dad has teamed up with the big bad guy of DMC3, and she's like, my dad killed my mom in the pursuit of demon energy or whatever the fuck. He sucks, I want to kill him. And then in the show, they have a scene where I remember there was a Reddit post of Adi Shankar, the creator / head writer or whatever the fuck, being like, I didn't change anything about Lady's backstory. And, the parts of the dad, like, killing the mom and then, like, going at their demon power was true. But there's, like, a whole episode with no dialogue where it's, like, it shows him, like, studying demon magic or whatever. It's, like, he's doing alchemy potions, and then he, like, drinks one, I think. Forgive me if I don't remember everything because it was bad and I want it wiped from my mind. He, you know, drinks some demon juice and then he turns into a vampire. And then he like kills his wife. And then after that lady, in the games, she just like she picks up some guns and she's like, hey, let's go, balls to the walls, I'm gonna go kill my dad. In the show, she's like, she becomes the leader of some kind of like shitty DMC Netflix original Sewer Slide Squad, and they like dedicate scenes to them, but you don't care because they're not from the games, and you're there to see shit from the games, and it's like, oh my god, uh, squad member A is in love with squad member B. Doesn't that just tug on your heartstrings? And then they die the same fucking episode, so you don't care. It's like, even if you were like, well, I'll give it a chance, maybe it'll be good writing. It's not. I also realized that I got away from myself where I saw a Reddit post that was like, everyone's complaining that it's a show about Lady, but Dante actually has fucking 5 point more picoseconds of screen time, as if that's like some kind of gotcha. But the show is all about Lady, and there's some scenes where Dante's there and he gets the cool action scenes, and hey, great, that's what DMC is all about, cool action scenes. But then when Dante is on screen, you have a 50-50 chance on whether or not he's saying something that had me go like, oh, Dante would totally say that in the video games, or why are they rating him like he's fucking Deadpool? Like, oh my god, there's a scene in like episode 1 or 2 where he interacts with Lady and she shoots him or something, and because he's half demon, his body just like instantaneously regenerates, and she's like, oh, and to quote her, she's like, did you just fucking regenerate? Because every line of dialogue that she has, they throw in fuck or fucking or shit or asshole. They're like, wouldn't it be so fucking edgy, so awesome if Lady swore a whole bunch? And it's the opposite of cool. It's just kind of like infantile. It's cringe. So she's like, did you just fucking regenerate, you asshole? And he's like, I know, you haven't seen a guy as handsome as me, huh? And I'm like, Dante wouldn't say that. And like, that's in like episode 1 or 2. So like right away, you're like, all right, that's, I think my least favorite scene's the end. But before that, there's a scene where they have like a enemy boss rush group of like demons from the games that have you do the Leonardo DiCaprio pointing meme of like, that's Agni and Rudra from DMC3, and that's the plant bitch from DMC4, and that's Nilo whatever from DMC5. But if they all sucked, Agni and Rudra in DMC3 are like a pair of talking demonic swords that like can like materialize headless bodies that they use to fight Dante with. And then Dante beats them, and they're like, hey man, it was pretty cool how you fucking beat our asses. We want to be your weapons now. And then you unlock them as like a playable thing in the game. In the show, they have heads. They both have these like South London accents. It fucking sucks. And then there's a scene where Dante is about to kill, I don't know which one's which. One is blue and one is red. He's about to kill the blue one, and before he kills the blue one goes, oh my god, he's so goddamn cool. And then he dies. And I want to like throw a hammer at my TV, because am I supposed to be like, oh my god, he is so cool, I wish I was Dante? But I don't wish I was Dante. I wish I wasn't watching this shit. But to move on to my least favorite scene, because most of the show has left my brain, but this will forever live there as a like, huh moment, where the whole show they've been like, no, the demons aren't inherently evil like they are in the games, and the ones that are good are like the exceptions to the rule. Actually, most demons are like chill guys, and they're refugees. They just want to live on Earth and like be your neighbor. So then the American government like gets an access to the demon realm, and then they do an allegory to like the Iraq invasion, and like all like America storms into the demon realm to just like lay waste and like carpet bomb the demon realm, while Green Day's "Don't Want to Be an American Idiot" plays in the background as the show ends. And you're just like, or at least I was like there, like mouth agape, like, what the fuck? Who wrote this? Like, no, a real person didn't write this, because that would be fucking stupid. But no, it's real. And then it's already greenlit for a second season, and my dumbass is gonna be there day one. to be like, how did they fuck it up again? Because I love to torture myself. But I think I either gave it a 3. I think I was willing to give it a 5 out of 10 because the action scenes were cool, and sometimes Dante was accurate, but most of the time he wasn't. But then the American Idiot scene played, and I would just like, my blood ran cold. I was like, oh no. So let's say I gave it a 3 out of 10 because talking about it, you know, I'm mad. I'm mad thinking about it that I remembered that I watched it, but yeah. So let's move on to the next thing. I only watched 3 other things, and that's because the next thing on the list was 24 episodes. I watched Dororo. Dororo? They say it in the show, but they throw like some stank on it. I think it's Dororo. So I think it's Dororo. So when I was watching Naruto, the it's 24 episodes long, and that's why it took me so long, because it's fucking boring. I give it a 6 out of 10 because it's fucking boring, but it's not awful. It's like totally watchable. I'll never watch it again. But the basic premise is that like there's this lord of this land who porked his wife, and she's pregnant. She's knocked up, and then he goes to like some demons, like some demon statues, and he's like, "Hey, demon kings, if you make where we live awesome and like prosperous, have my son." And so then she shits out her kid, and he has like no skin and no bones. Oh, he has bones. He's the gelatinous cube from D&D. He's like a baby. He's like no skin and no eyes, and they're like, "Oh, fucking yuck! Get rid of this thing. Throw it in the woods." So I think they throw it in the river. You know, classic getting rid of baby shit movies. He's found by like some random woodsman who like is a better man than I am, because if I saw the thing, I would be like, "Oh my god, step on it, crush it with rocks." But he raises it, but then it like cuts to the future, and he's like, I think he's supposed to be an adult. If he's not an adult, he's a teenager who looks like an adult, like classic anime style. He doesn't. His arms aren't real. He has like fake mannequin doll arms that like he like moves, and then he has like blades, and that's how he like defends himself. And then he meets a like street rat fuck kid called Dororo. So then Dororo and main guy, whose name I forget, like start running together, and it's revealed that Gelatinous Cube has like, he can't see, but he can like sense your aura. He can tell if you have Riz. And so it's like red if it's like an evil demon, and then he's like, oh shit, red, and then he kills demons. And as the show goes on, he like finds the demon kings that his dad cucked him with, so that he kills them, and he like gets parts of himself back as they like venture through the lands. And there's a beat where like they reveal the kid's backstory, where like this kid has a bunch of gold somewhere, and later they get the gold. I'm struggling to remember details of this one because it was so fucking boring. I remember there was a good episode where there's some like snake lady that like steals dudes and seduces them, and then they're like, oh boy, I'm gonna get to fuck this snake lady, and then she eats them. But then she meets a guy, like she gets fucked up by Dorito and Gelatinous Cube, and then she gets taken in by like some dude that's like, I don't care that you're a snake lady, I actually think you're pretty based, I'm gonna nurse you back to health. And then she's like, you know I'm a fucked up snake lady, right? And he's like, yeah, let's chill with me. And then I don't even, it's like, you know, it's supposed to be like, oh, maybe all demons aren't so bad, a running theme of this video, I guess. I think Dorito and Gelatinous Cube do eviscerate her. I don't remember them being like, no, she is chill, let's leave. But unfortunately, that was the best episode, and I don't remember the details of it because the rest of the show's so whatever. It had some decent themes that I can't recall because I have no brain, and it had some alright action scenes, although most of them boiled down to Gelatinous Cube using his doll sword arms to like slice up demons. Like there's not much creativity behind that. There is later revealed that like his shitlord dad and the mom porked again, and they had another kid, but this kid's normal, so they kept this one. They were like, oh shit, this kid's awesome, unlike that fucking freak we had. And then he meets Gelatinous Cube and they fight, and then he's like, I have to kill you because you're an abomination. And then he learns that they're brothers, and he's like, never mind. And then I don't remember how it ends. I know by the end, he kills enough of the demon lords that he gets like his arms and his like sight and hearing, and he can talk or whatever the fuck. At some point, it's revealed that Dorito is a girl, and then after they save the day, the cuck lord's mom is like, I should have never abandoned you, gelatinous cube. I love you. I'm your mom. And she turns face. I'm like really like reaching into my mind palace, like what happened? And they beat I think the brother, the base normie brother and gelatinous cube team up to beat the final demon lord or whatever the fuck. And then Dorito is like, hey, let's go get my gold. And they like, everything is good now. Although then gelatinous cube is like, Dorito, I'm abandoning you. Bye. I have to go on a journey of self-discovery. And then he leaves. But then the final scene is like he comes back and now Dorito is like an adult maybe, or like a teenager. But like, and then she runs at him like arms wide open, smiling, laughing. And the vibes I got was that like they're in love and that they're gonna be together now. Even though gelatinous cube kind of like raised Dorito, like some kind of grooming shit, which like due to stuff from my past videos, it wouldn't be that crazy if I was like, by the way, child love. Every anime is like this. Isn't it awesome? No, it sucks. I'm gonna move on. My cats are fighting to the death right now. Alright. Next anime. I watched Solo Leveling Season 2. Arise from the Shadow. I gave this one a 6 out of 10. I did not watch many good... I watched one good thing this month, and I finished it today. And that's the next thing on the list. We'll get there. I watched Solo Leveling Season 2, Arise from Shadow. I gave it a 6 out of 10. I know this is kind of like the flavor of the, like, whatever. Like, every, like, I was about to go full geekkeeper. Anyone that was a fan of the anime Jujutsu Kaisen that doesn't watch much else is like, oh, Solo Leveling is what's popular now? Okay, I'll just watch that. And I see people like... this season was on the top 100, and I accidentally ranked it before I had actually finished it, but... I think I gave it C rank, which is kind of where I still stand. I was ranking it as if it was season 1, which I think I also gave a 6, because like Solo Leveling is totally fine. However, it's like unbelievably juvenile, where like every scene they just want you to be like, oh my god, the main guy Sung Jinu is so fucking handsome and buff and strong. And I don't know if I want to be him, or if I want him in me, or if I have a kid and I'm white and I'm gonna name him Sung Jinu in honor of Solo Leveling Season 2 Arise from Shadow. But like every scene just wants you to like get down on your knees and throw out Sung Jinu, which I am incapable of because he's not that interesting of a character. He's just there for you to like glaze or self-insert on, and I don't have that in me. I self-insert as Sung Jinu's shit, or perhaps the dirt under his shoes. But I remember, unfortunately, this was kind of a rude awakening, because I read Solo Leveling the manhwa, the comic book version of it, in college. I didn't finish it. I read most of it, though. Like, let's say like 80-90%. And I remember when I did my season 1 review, whenever that was, I stand by it where, like, yeah, some cool stuff happens, but like the coolest shit is like episode 1, where he's like a little cuck, and it's kind of like a horror anime, and it's like a great like narrative, and then that gets killed when he doesn't die and he wakes up, and the universe is like, congratulations, Sung Jinu, you're him, you're Giga Chad, you have the ability to just become infinitely more based, lucky you. And then every scene is just him being like, I have to be more based. And that was something that was definitely off-putting. Solo Leveling is a pretty good cast of like other characters, and the guy who voices Sung Jinu, Alex Lee, is a good voice actor. I've heard him give good performances in other things, and he does. I would say there's one line in one of the later episodes of the Solo Leveling Season 2 where I'm like, that was great. But for the most part, like, he voices Zenitsu from Demon Slayer, so like in episode 1 when he's still like a little soy bitch, he's like, it's my Zenitsu voice, and then he becomes Giga Chad and he's like, I'm Sung Jinu, listen to me, don't I sound so fucking awesome? Don't you think I'm the coolest guy on this part of the fucking yard? And it's like, alright, you're just making me cringe. But there is a season 2 is the best part of all of Solo Leveling, which unfortunate that I'm giving it a 6, because I know they said they weren't doing season 3 right away, but whatever they do, I'm gonna give season 3 like a fucking 4. Like, it's boring after season 2, and it's already not that interesting in season 2. It's just like waiting from scene to scene until you get to another Sung Jinu fight. But the best scene of the whole season, Sung Jinu goes into the demon realm. Another demon realm. I love them demons. I can't get enough of them. He goes into the demon realm so that he can craft the elixir of life or whatever the fuck, so he can save his mom, who is in a turbo coma. And he is like fighting a giga boss. And his main thing is that he has daggers and he has shadow zombies. And I think he's like, I'm almost out of shadow zombies and they broke both my daggers. Ruh-roh, Raggy. And then he's like, but I need to do this to save my mom. So, and then he like breaks the cool guy voice. He breaks the cool guy voice to like land one final hit on the boss. He like uppercuts them in the chin, and it like changes art styles to these like insane impact frames while he goes, "Who the fuck do you?" No, wait, that's way too edgy. He's like, "Who the hell do you think I am?" And then he like finishes off the boss. It's fucking awesome. It's like, in a better show, I would be like lauding up, like I would be like losing my shit. But because the rest of the show is like, oh, I just had to go like, oh, okay, cool, that was cool, and then it goes back to mediocrity. I also, it just kind of like, because they said they weren't doing season 3 right away, it just kind of ends. It's like, I think the final line of the show is Sung Jinu being like, I have to, what are we, some kind of Solo Leveling? I have to keep being more Chad. And then it just ends while the theme song from season 1 plays, which like normally that's like a cool thing if like a show's been going for like multiple seasons, to be like, they're playing the season 1 theme song. But this one hasn't earned it because there's only 2 seasons of like 27 episodes. What were they thinking? Also, I skipped a piece where he fights like a orc to like go back. It's unfortunate because a lot of side characters have me being like, that's Chris Sabat, that's Ian Sinclair, that's a bunch of voice actors I like really like and respect. And then like he fights a giga orc boss who becomes one of his like main shadow zombies. That like really sounds like, I'm the orc boss. And I'm like, did they just fucking go outside and go, hey, you, buddy, grab first guy they see, get him in the booth? Because it fucking sucked dick. That's basically, that's what I have to say about Solo Leveling Season 2. It's totally fine. I think it's another example of, like, it has good animation, I won't say it doesn't have that. So, if that's all you're looking for, like, if you're incapable of appreciating writing in any fucking way, and you just want to see pretty pictures, then, yeah, watch Solo Leveling. You'll think it's an 11 out of 10. You'll love it. You'll coom. But if you actually care about what's being said to you, maybe give it a miss. I watched it every day over the course of a week on my like lunch break. I watched 2 episodes, blitzed through it in a week, and I found that was like pretty enjoyable. Or like maybe make it like a second screen viewing of like, if you're like gaming, watch it on a second screen. I really don't think it's worthy of your full attention other than that one scene where he punches that guy in the jaw. Let's move on to the final shit I watched. I just finished watching this tonight. It's called Insomniacs After School, which I believe it's an anime from last year, but as far as I'm aware, it's also a really recent manga. I remember opening the Viz manga app, and it would be like, hey, it's Monday, so here's a new chapter of Insomniacs. And I was really curious from the name. I was like, that sounds, a story about Insomniacs. I would like to read that. I never did. And then I finished fucking Solo Leveling, and I was like, I need something else. So went to High Dive, which is what that's on. And then it was like one of the first things. I was like, okay, yeah, I'll watch this. I've been meaning to watch or read this. The basic idea is that there's this dude who is an insomniac. Surprise, surprise. He has to go get some shit from a warehouse part of the school. But it's not actually a warehouse part of the school. It's actually astronomy building. It's like a area where there's a telescope, but he goes in and there's rumors people avoid that area because there's a spooky ghost don't go there. You'll get caught by the ghost of the warehouse building. And he goes there, and then there's a lady, fellow student, in a like hoodie and a COVID mask, and he gets scared shitless, and he's like, "Oh dang, what the heck?" And she's like, "I come here because I it's the only place that's comfortable enough to sleep. Also, I started the ghost rumor, so people would leave me the fuck alone, so I could sleep here in peace." And he's like, "That's pretty cool. I'm also an insomniac." And then they fall asleep together. And then the rest of the show is like a slice of life romance series, I guess, where they get caught. They like get rid of all the warehouse shit of like random storage the school was using, and then they like move in stuff. So like they move in a sofa and they move in like stuff to make it a more comfortable area, because they realize that like while they're insomniacs, this is a great place to catch some Z's, and they feel way more comfortable sleeping with one another than anywhere else. So they do that. Then they get caught by the school nurse, and she's like, "What the fuck are you guys doing? Are you guys fucking here?" And they're like, no way. This would be a way different series if we were banging." And then she's like, "Well, we were thinking about destroying this part of the school because we don't have an astronomy club, and no one, like, we just use it as storage anyway, so like it's a waste of space." And they're like, "No, please, this is our club fuck house." And she's like, "Okay, well, you guys can keep it provided you start back up the astronomy club and get enough funding to keep the club going." So they restart the astronomy club. To get the funding, they would need to like win prize money from a competition of like taking pictures of the stars. Conveniently enough, the main guy has a camera that he never really like uses, because he begged his dad for some video game peripheral that like lets you take pictures of shit. And he was like, "I begged my dad so much for this like game where you take pictures that my dad, with his infinite wisdom, thought, fuck that, you get a normal camera, bitch." So then he got me this. I don't really use it. Then as the show goes on, he gets like much more interested in photography and like specifically taking pictures of the night sky, because hey, he's an insomniac, he's awake anyway. So he like goes out at night and like, well, he ventures out with the girl character as well. At one point, to get some advice on what astronomy club members do, they go find the last alumni, who at first they make it seem like it's a real trek to get out there, but then they're like regularly going there again and again. She like works at some arcade, and then she loves photography, so she kind of like inspires the main guy to get like way more into it. And she's like, "Check out these shots I did," and he's like, "Whoa, that's beautiful." And you know, he improves his skills from like learning from her. And then it's not a super complex series, but as long as you enjoy the main guy and the main girl's dynamic of falling in love, then I would say it's a pretty enjoyable season. I gave it an 8. I was struggling on whether or not I was going to give it a 7, 8, or a 9, and it was definitely good, but it didn't like really move me in like any particular way. But it wasn't like very boring, so I thought an 8 felt more appropriate than a 7, but it's not good enough to be a 9. I would definitely recommend it. It's short. It's only 13 episodes. I watched it over the course of like 2 nights. I know one of the last scenes like was probably my favorite scene, where he like tells her that he loves her, and then she is like, she gets all embarrassed, and she like, they take pictures of each other in that moment to like, I'm at a loss for words to commemorate the moment. She's like, this is such a special moment. But to flash back before the end, because I jumped straight to the end, there's a scene where she reveals why she's an insomniac, and that reason being is that she has like heart issues, so she can't sleep because she's so scared that she will go to sleep and her heart's gonna give out, and like she will never wake up again. And I'm like, damn, that's sad. And then like several episodes go by, and then the main guy's like, you know, I never revealed to you why I'm an insomniac. And his reason is so much fucking worse. He's like, I'm scared that, you know, I'll go to sleep and then I'll wake up and tomorrow will be worse than today. And I was like, buddy, she might die every single night. And you're like, tomorrow I might be sad. Like, suck it up, princess. Like, what the fuck? Shut up. You suck. He doesn't suck. I'm being a little too harsh, but that scene, I was like, what are you talking about? She could die any night, and you're like, what if tomorrow is shitty? What if it's poopy? Who cares? Fuck, you're a loser. But yeah, that's what I watched in April. I guess there's a few more days of April. I could have waited till the last minute on a Wednesday put this out, but I could probably only watch like one more show in that time frame. So what's the point? Yeah. Thanks for watching. As always, I am bad at editing videos. I don't know what to say. I can yap infinitely for like 2 hours straight, but the second I'm like, what? Goodbye.